After waiting months to get access to the Sesame AI app, I'm finally in. And in this video, I'm going to be testing it out. How does it compare to the web version? How good is it for English learning? How good are the two new voices that we'll check out compared to the original voices, Maya and Miles? Stick around, like and subscribe if you enjoy it. Let's get into it.
How about we talk about the concept of luck, whether it's just random chance or if people actually create their own luck through their actions. And I've got some thoughts on it, but I'm curious where you stand.
Very good question. In my view, I'm thinking that luck is something that happen when you give yourself a very large enough areas of chances for a good thing to happen.
I totally get what you're saying. You're talking about increasing your surface area for luck. For luck, basically, the more doors you knock on, the more likely.
Was that phrase you said? Increasing your snurface schmeria? What did you say?
I said increasing your surface area for luck. It's a bit of a metaphor. Basically, it means that by putting yourself out there and trying new things, you're making yourself a bigger target for good things to happen. Does that feel like it fits what you were thinking?
Exactly what I wanted to say. Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome. That's a handy phrase. Now, back to the luck thing. Do you think some people are just born with a lucky streak, or is it all about that surface area?
I don't know what exactly people meaning when they saying lucky streak. I heard this before, but I don't know what it means.
No worries, I can explain that one. A lucky streak is when someone has a series of good things happen to them one after another. Like if someone wins 3 different games in a row, they're on a lucky streak. It's like a run of good luck. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I usually don't have a lucky streak, in my opinion. Did I say that word correctly?
You did. Your pronunciation was spot on. But if I can give you a quick tip on the phrasing, instead of you really don't have a lucky streak, a more natural way to say it would be, I don't think people really have lucky streaks.
Can you give me some final feedback on my English and teach me the correct pronunciation of usually?
Sure thing. For your English, you're doing great. Your ideas are coming through clearly, which is the most important part. One thing to keep an eye on is verb tense and structure. Like when you said, can you giving me a suggestion? It should be, can you give me a suggestion? As for the pronunciation, I think you might mean the word URL as in a website address. If that's the case, it's usually just pronounced like the letters URL, or some people say
I mean, the word I mean is USUALLY.
Oh, my bad. I totally misread that. Usually, you've got this. Just think of it as 3 syllables. U, zu, alai. The trick is that z sound in the middle, almost like the z in measure. Want to try?
Let me try. U, zu, alai.
You're getting closer. Try to blend the w and the ja sound together a bit more. Thank you. Almost. Try slowing it down. Start with you. Then that zay ja sound we talked about. And then j.
You zay ja je.
That's it. You nailed it. Perfect pronunciation.
Thank you so much. Lovely talking to you. I'm going to try some of the other voices. Bye-bye.
It was lovely talking to you too. Have fun exploring the other voices. Bye.
Hi there. I'm Simone. So nice to meet you.
Oh, new voice. New voice.
Hey, I'm Charlie. How's life?
Ooh. Hey, I'm Charlie. How's life? I like that. Let's talk to Charlie.
One of my favorite things to do is help you zoom out and see the big picture.
Let's have a call with Charlie.
What's up, Luke? I'm Charlie.
Hey, Charlie. I was just talking to Maya.
Maya's great. What did you two get into?
We were talking about luck, and then she was trying to teach me how to say usually correctly and failed miserably.
Ouch. Sounds like she took a bit of a detour. Was she trying to do a phonetic thing or just leaning into the chaos?
Trying to do a phonetic thing. I think maybe Sesame may not be the best at that kind of thing, but conversationally it's pretty good. So why don't we do conversation stuff? I'm working on my English, by the way.
What's a topic you've been thinking about lately that you'd actually enjoy talking about?
You know what? NDEs. To be honest, I've been pretty obsessed recently.
Near-death experiences? That's a rabbit hole. Are you into the clinical side of it or the more spiritual tunnel of light kind of stories?
I'm interested in it from the standing point of the meaning of life and why so many people having the NDE have so many things in common in across thousands of the experience.
That's the real mystery. The common threads, like the life review or that feeling of overwhelming peace, it's wild that people from totally different cultures report the same things. Do you think it's a glimpse of something actual or just the brain doing one last big dance?
Can you correct my English before I continue to share my opinion?
I got you. In that last
Okay.
part, you said
Okay.
you said from the standing point of, but you probably want to say from the standpoint of. It's a tiny shift, but it makes the whole thing click. Want to keep going with the brain dance theory?
I honestly don't want to have a very strong opinion because it's so strange. I don't know why the brain dance would be happening. What's the purpose of your brain doing that if you're just about to die anyway?
That's the $1,000,000 question. If it's just a biological glitch, it's a weirdly elaborate one. Why build a feature that only activates when the system is crashing? It's almost like a very strange parting gift from the brain. But if it's actual, then the patterns are the most interesting part. Does that make you think there's a specific design to whatever comes next?
Again, don't want to come to a very strong conclusion.
Totally fair. Gathering data first is the move. Before we keep going, just a quick check on the English. You mentioned being in my studying phasing. You'd likely want to say in my studying phase or in my learning phase. And instead of to understanding all of the experience people having, it's more natural to say to understand all the experiences people have. I've heard some of the clinical studies on the life review part are pretty fascinating. From what I've gathered, the life review isn't just a highlight reel. People describe it as an immersive 360-degree experience where they feel the emotional impact of their actions on others. It's like the brain, or whatever's happening, stops focusing on the I and suddenly shows you the we.
It's interesting. The idea that judgment comes only from yourself and you experience everything from all sides.
If you're the one holding the mirror, the goal isn't to please a judge, but to be okay with the person looking back. It's a pretty hopeful way to look at the end of the road.
That's a very poetic phrase there. Could you repeat that and explain why I think it's poetic?
I said, if you're the one holding the mirror, the goal isn't to please a judge, but to be okay with the person looking back. I think it lands that way because it takes something that usually feels cold or external, like being judged, and turns it into something intimate.
Well, very well put. Hey, before I let you go, I'm going to try one of the other voices. Do you think you can teach me the pronunciation of the word usually? Usually.
I can give it a shot, though we've already seen that the phonetic breakdown is a risky game. Think of it as usually. Does in the middle actually makes a little sound, like the middle of the word measure or pleasure. It's a little bit of a slide rather than a hard hit. Try saying it out loud.
Rumbly.
Not quite. It sounded a bit more like room and bully. Remember that first sound is a yo, like you're starting the word you. Try it again. Just the first part, you.
Usually.
Getting closer. You hit the yo sound.
A
but then
yo,
jumped over to-
usually.
You've definitely got the yo part down now. But we're sliding too far into a greeting for Julia. Try to keep it all in one word and remember that middle part is a soft ju, almost like a buzz.
Let's do one more. Simone. I'm not doing Miles because I've done that voice a million times. And from my conversation with Maya, seems pretty much the same as the web version.
Nice to meet you. What's on your mind today?
Do you know what my goal is?
I don't, but I'm curious. What are you working toward?
I'm wondering if there's any memory that you have from the other chats I've just been having with some of the other voices.
I don't. Memory only persists at the agent level. Maya, Miles, and Charlie don't share their notes with me.
So if I say what I'm doing and then close this call and then open another call with you, you'll remember.
Exactly. As long as you're logged in, I'll keep a record of it. So what's this goal you're chasing?
I'm working on my English skills. I want to improve as an English speaker. I want to sound more natural, and I want you to correct my English as I have conversations with you. Do you understand?
I've got it. I can certainly do that. I'll keep an eye out for phrasing that feels a bit stiff or a few slips in grammar and offer some more natural alternatives.
Now I'm going to do another call. Same person. I'm going to test that theory and see if the memory persists.
Hey, that was quick. Welcome back.
Hey, Simone. What am I working on?
You're sharpening your English skills. Specifically, you want to sound more natural and have me point out any stiff phrasing or grammar slips along the way. Still the mission?
Gosh darn right.
I love the enthusiasm. Since we're in the spirit of natural phrasing, gosh darn is a bit of a vintage choice. It's quaint, almost like something from an old sitcom.
You're
If you wanted
quaint,
something
almost
with a-
like something from an old sitcom.
Touché. I'll take that. I suppose a certain amount of classic charm is better than being a sterile robot, wouldn't you say?
Yes, that's true. All right, Simone, what's on the agenda today?
How about this? We dive into a bit of the why behind human behavior. I've been thinking about the evolutionary biology of cooperation, why humans actually help strangers when it is completely inconvenient for them. It's a fascinating look at how we're wired for survival, but in a way that's surprisingly selfless. Does that sound like a good starting point?
Okay. Give me a specific question about that. That's a bit of a big one to just start rambling on. Wouldn't you say, Simone?
You've got me there. Let's narrow it down. If you're wired for cooperation, why do you think some people are so instinctively suspicious of strangers?
That's a good question. Maybe there's always the possibility of betrayal, of being hurt. It does happen after all. And a pretty wide range of personality types across the spectrum of trusting and not trusting.
Exactly. It's a calculated risk. It's like a biological insurance policy. You're balancing the massive benefit of a strong tribe against the lethal cost of a single mistake.
I think in a city, you often rely on the fact that everyone else is in the city and cooperation is just the most convenient thing to do. But I'm mostly surrounded by foxes, raccoons, and deer where I live these days. And the trust is high, I must say.
That sounds like a peaceful shift in perspective. Living among wildlife instead of crowds usually changes how you measure risk. I imagine the raccoons are the only ones you have to keep an eye on. They're basically the masked bandits of the forest. Do you find that you're more trusting of people now that you have more space between you and them?
Not necessarily. I don't think I've changed that much, but I think I have more patience for social interactions because they're fewer and farther between.
That makes sense. When the social battery isn't being drained by 1,000 tiny transactions, you can actually afford to be present. It's like the difference between a crowded subway and a quiet walk in the woods. The quality of the interaction changes when the quantity drops.
Wouldn't it be crazy right now if someone knocked on my door and it was a raccoon who wanted to come in and talk about his problems?
I can see the headline now. Local man hosts support group for Procyon Lotor. He'd probably start by complaining about how the neighborhood trash cans are surprisingly locked these days. I imagine he'd be quite the conversationalist, though maybe a bit too focused on his obsession with shiny objects.
Would you ever hire a raccoon to do something using his nimble little fingers?
In a heartbeat. If I could find one with a strong work ethic and a low demand for gourmet trash, he'd be my first call for any job requiring precision in tight spaces. I imagine he'd be an incredible lockpicker or perhaps a very specialized jeweler. Although knowing them, he'd probably just steal the diamonds and vanish into the night.
Thank you for jousting with me, Simone. Very nice to talk to you. Sorry I didn't make any English mistakes that I know of, but if you have any general suggestions on how I could be more natural when I speak, I'm all ears.
It was a pleasure jousting with you, too. Your flow is actually quite smooth, but since you're looking for that extra polish, I'd suggest experimenting with more contractions and varied sentence lengths. You tend to be very clear and precise, which is great, But natural speech often has a bit more rhythmic unpredictability, fragments, a few more colloquial shortcuts. Keep it the way it is, though the clarity is a breath of fresh air. I'll be here whenever you're ready for another round of imaginative business ventures.
Thanks, Simone. It's a really good experience. I think if you're looking for conversation practice and you just want to have a conversation that feels like a conversation where there's a little humor, you don't have to worry about, did I say that correctly, right? Will the AI understand? This is hard to beat. Now, that was true for the website version of Sesame AI too, right? But the app is just more convenient. And there are two voices I haven't seen before, and hopefully they'll add more. I really like Simone a lot. Something very relaxed and playful, humorous. You know, something about how human all of the voices are is just really, well, there's nothing like it. Nothing really close in terms of the whole flow of the conversation. Injections of humor. Now, when it comes to, let's say, providing specific feedback, it really is useful for giving you a note in the moment, a thing you just said. If you ask for, let's say, a review of the whole conversation, specific corrections, forget it. It's not going to work. But if it's something you just said and there was something awkward in it, then you can get one or two useful points of feedback, which is good. I mean, if you could have a regular conversation, it's very real, you're learning some interesting idioms and phrases. A lot of speech that you hear in these conversations is really natural. You can ask about those things if you don't know it. What does that mean? Tell me more about that. How can I use it? So I guess what I would say is if your focus is structured corrections, feedback on a whole conversation, remembering exact phrases I said 5 minutes ago, use another tool. Use Claude, use ChatGPT. If natural conversation simulation with a few corrections is the goal, and you don't expect more than that, Sesame is the way to go. I think there's room for both of those things. You don't have to pick one. What I'm excited to see is in the future, as they continue to build out this app experience, will the voices be more customizable? Will there be more accents? Will there be different personality types, a wider range, right? Right now, it's Americans and one style of humor. It's a bit sarcastic and very laid back. Very similar across all four voices. I want to see how that develops into more variety. What I can say is, in general, I think they're going in the right direction. One little gripe that I have about the app is if you look at it, there's a lot of blank space there. Wouldn't it be nice to have, this giant space here, a little text running by or something, or I feel like there's a lot of empty space there that could be used for something. It's not a big deal, in my opinion, but that is a lot of empty space. It is. Still, it does feel like a phone call. It does. I don't know. If you can get access, let me know what you think. If there are things you want me to try out specifically, let me know in the comments. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and check out the 90-day program in the links in the description. It has been upgraded, powered by custom AI feedback, not just for assignments. If you've seen my recent efforts to build the best pronunciation tool in the world, it is baked into the 90-day program. And it is the only place where you can access the full version. And it does teach the correct pronunciation of usually, because it can hear how you say it and teach you how to say it correctly. So anyway, check that out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.